Hi everyone. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Please let me know if you guys can. Okay, cool. So we're here. Hi everyone. This is a book a month stream, and mera naam Vaani hai, and welcome to Chalchitra Talks. And today we are going to discuss the book for the month of October, which was The Cost of Living. And towards the end of the stream, I will also be revealing the book for the month of November, which is right here. I know, like we get a lot of people every month for a book a month stream, but for the first time, I thought I had a lot to say, so I was selfish and I decided to stream alone. I'm really sorry, and I would like to apologize. But in any case, moving on, there are people here, and I'm so glad there are quite a few people here, which is nice. Do like the stream, guys, because the more you like the stream, the more it gets recommended to people, and more people will be able to join in on this discussion. But hi, everyone. Okay, Ritik is here. Is your name Ritik by any chance? But this is a cool thing you've got going there, Ritik. Vaibhav is here. Hi, Vaibhav. Vaibhav is also going to join the stream, I guess. If you are a patron, if you are a godfather slash gladiator, you'd be part of the book club. And if you're a part of a book club, the book club we have on WhatsApp, you would know we were just discussing one of the chapters in the book, Cost of Living. But hi, Hussein. Hi, Sonu, Simran. I hope everyone is doing fine. And how many of you guys have actually finished reading the book or are reading this book, Cost of Living? It'd be great if you could let me know in the comments. Hey, Saurabh is also here. Hi, Saurabh. And we have a new mug also. It says wild. It's kind of cute. I don't know. But in any case, before I discuss the book, I would also want to tell you a little bit, in case you guys don't know much about the book, I would tell you that this is a part of an autobiographical series. There are 3 books in this series. The first one is Things I Don't Want to Know. The second one is The Cost of Living. And the third one is Real Estate. So I think I got Things I Want to Know. I don't remember why or how I got it, but I remember the first time I read it, I was so emotional. Like, finally, someone is saying the things that I want people to know about me, that I cried my eyes out when I finished reading this. And in case you guys haven't read Things I Don't Want to Know, I would highly, highly recommend it. And before I go on to discuss Cost of Living, I wanted to talk to you about Things I Don't Want to Know. It has to be hands down. I mean, I don't have favorites when it comes to books, but it has to be hands down one of the series that single-handedly changed my world and my I don't know, changed my world upside down single-handedly, this series. And if I were to have to if I were to recommend 3 books to people to read if you can only read 3 books in a year, I would recommend this series because it's absolutely wonderful. Anyways, I'll start with Things I Don't Want to Know without wasting your time. And hey, Shreya started it last night and completed it today at 6. Yeah, that's wonderful. Simran is saying that I love Deborah's writing. It's poetic in a very practical way. It is. And yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. Akash is saying he's never heard of this book. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of, I would, I take pride in the fact that every person I know who has read Deborah Levy has read so because I recommended it to them. So I am very proud of that fact. But in any case, Things I Don't Want to Know is the first book. It has a beautiful cover with a woman trying to put on her shoe. And it's the first in Deborah Levy's 3-part living autobiography. And it's on writing and womanhood. And there is a George Orwell's essay, Why I Write, and it's actually, it was marketed as a feminist reply to that essay, but it's not a feminist reply as much as it's inspired by Why I Write. And so I'm sorry, I'm just like a little overwhelmed because I absolutely love this book and it's nice to read it with all of you. The book actually opens, so if you read Cost of Living, you'd see that there was a quote at the beginning. This book comes with two quotes. One is all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, which is George Orwell, Animal Farm. There's another quote here, and it says, I know, roughly speaking, how I became a writer. I don't know precisely why, in order to exist. Did I really need to line up words and sentences? In order to exist, was it enough for me to be the author of a few books? One day, I shall certainly have to start using words to uncover what is real, to uncover my reality. And it's a beautiful quote from the book Species of Spaces and Other Pieces. Now, the book is divided into four parts: political purpose, historical impulse, sheer egoism, aesthetic enthusiasm. And had you guys followed my recommendation from the general recommendation episodes that I do weekly on Chalchitra Talks, you would have already read this book by now. So shame on you if you haven't picked it up already. In any case, the book is probably has the best opening sequence. Like Vaibhav asks this question to a lot of people, like, what are the credits or like opening credits or like opening whatever sequence that you like of the TV series. If someone were to ask me what is my favorite first chapter, it'll be this. It's the first chapter is political purpose, and there's a quote here: "You are your life and nothing else," from No Exit. And then he says, then it starts. That spring when life was very hard and I was at war with my lot and simply couldn't see where there was to get to, I seemed to cry most on escalators at train stations. Going down them was fine, but there was something about standing still and being carried upwards that did it. From apparently nowhere, tears poured out of me, and by the time I got to the top and felt the wind rushing in, it took all my effort to stop myself from stopping. It was as if the momentum of the escalator carrying me forwards and upwards was a physical expression of a conversation I was having with myself. Escalators, which in the early days of their invention were known as traveling staircases or magical stairways, had mysteriously become danger zones. And I absolutely love how she points out that escalators made her feel uncomfortable. But there's also the book about things I don't want to know is that it's about writing and it's also about womanhood. It gives you a beautiful and brilliant insight into what essentially it is to be a woman and a writer, of course. But she also talks about how she was very shy when she was growing up. She was an introvert and she wasn't loud enough. And I thought I saw myself in there, and where she says, in order to become a writer, I had to learn to interrupt, to speak up, to speak a little louder, and then to just speak in my own voice, which is not loud at all. And I think that really made me comfortable with how I handle things, because everyone is in a rush, and someone telling you that it's okay, whatever it is that you do to deal with things is nice enough. But yeah, this is one of my favorite books, and I picked up this one. I decided not to pick up things I don't want to know because I thought not everyone would be able to relate to it. However, I picked up The Cost of Living, and I'll get to it later because when we start discussing cost of living. But yes. Just give me a second. I'm dropping a message. So the thing about things I don't want to know is also probably where I got a lot of idea about feminism. I didn't. So feminism is something that we've heard of a lot. Not many people have read about it. There are a lot of books in it. There are a lot of talks on it. But I think the book that got to me was Things I Don't Want to Know, where she talks about how the writer must stake claim to that contested territory. If you're a woman, how you have to claim your territory and you have to shape it according to your need. And while comparing the essay to what George Orwell has written, she also talks about the problems she faces. So Hindol has commented, hi Hindol, the cost of living is our book for this month and it costs nothing to like this stream. But yeah. So Deborah Levy here says, and it's one of my most favorite parts. She talks about the book she'd once written. And she talks to us about this other woman she's met. And she says, it occurred to me that both Maria, this woman, and I were on the run in the 21st century. Just like George Sand, whose name was also Amantine, who was on the run in the 19th century. We were on the run from the lies concealed in the language of politics, from myths about our character and our purpose in life. We were on the run from our own desires too, probably, whatever they were. It was best to laugh it off. The way we laugh at our own desires, the way we mock ourselves before anyone else can, the way we are wired to kill ourselves, it doesn't bear thinking about. And when you, I know like you can still go on and read the second part and you don't have to read this one before you pick up any part. But when you read Things I Don't Want to Know and then you come to The Cost of Living, you actually see the transition, because this is the book she wrote in her 40s and Cost of Living is what she wrote in her 50s. And Real Estate now is what she wrote in her 60s. And she says, I did not know how to get the work, my writing into the world. I did not know how to open the window like an orange. If anything, the window had closed like an axe on my tongue. If this was to be my reality, I did not know what to do with it. A female writer cannot afford to feel her life too clearly. If she does, she will write in a rage when she should write calmly. And there's a quote that she's written, she's taken from A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, and she says, she will write in a rage when she should write calmly. She will write foolishly where she should write wisely. She will write of herself when she should write of her characters. She is at war with her lot. And when she says she's at war with the lot, that's how she opens the book. I was at war with my lot. And she's referring to Virginia Woolf's Room of One's Own, how we are at war with our own lot, how we are at war with the other women around us. I had told the Chinese shopkeeper that to become a writer, I had to learn to interrupt, to speak up, to speak a little louder, and then to just speak in my own voice, which is not loud at all. And that's how she ends the book, Things I Don't Want to Know. And this is absolutely a wonderful, wonderful book. And if you haven't picked it up already, and if you like poetic prose, I think you're going to really like it and appreciate it as well. Jibin is here. Hi, Jibin. How are you? Hi, Saptarshi. I hope everyone is doing fine. How many of you, now I'll just go on and again, do like the stream, guys? It's takes nothing to like the stream. And do comment as well, mark your attendance and everything. And I'm just going to start discussing the cost of living. And Guardian says that the book is unmissable. That's the word they've used for it. But this is the second book, Deborah Levy's The Cost of Living, and this is the one we're going to discuss today. I don't know how much will we be able to discuss, but do like comment down in the chat whatsoever, whichever chapter you'd like to discuss, whatever page you'd like to discuss, and or if you have any suggestions or opinions or ideas after you finish reading the book. And that'll be really nice. So the thing about the cost of living is, now the autobiographical series, this is the second part, as I've repeated myself a number of times. She wrote it in her 50s, and she talks about, if things I don't want to know was about writing and womanhood, cost of living is actually about realizing this womanhood, and it's about motherhood, and it's also about what it takes to make a living. And I could, so when I first read Virginia Woolf, I was moved because I thought, hey, that's one way to portray women in life. And then I read Deborah Levy, and I cannot. If you want to understand womanhood or feminism in general, um, I don't think you can read or do it. I don't think there is anyone who does womanhood better than Deborah Levy. And there were a few comments a few months ago that she's racist, which broke my heart. And I stopped reading about her at all because I did not want to ruin whatever it was that I felt for her, and I still feel for her. But I think those are lies. But well, never mind. The Cost of Living by Deborah Levy. And this is the book that was for the month. Ipshita is here. Hi, Ipshita. Hi, Mondelwes. Hi, Divyang. Now, there's a quote in the book, and this is on the back cover. I'll start with it. To separate from love is to live a risk-free life. What's the point of that sort of life? Oh, by the way, this book, if you've read the Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir, I am pronouncing it wrong. I'm really sorry, but it's a reply to that. It's inspired from that. What's the point of that sort of life? I was living in the Republic of Writing and Children. I was not Simone de Beauvoir, after all. No, I had got off the train at a different stop, which was marriage, and stepped on to a different platform, which was children. She was my muse, but I was certainly not hers. Yet, we had bought a ticket for the same train. The destination was to head towards a freer life. That is a vague destination. No one knows what it looks like when we get there. It is a journey without end, but I did not know that then. And here she's exploring the concept of motherhood. She's become a writer in Things I Don't Want to Know, which was the first book. She's told you how she became a writer. The thing with Cost of Living is she's exploring what comes in later. She's married, she has kids, she has daughters, beautiful, amazing daughters, but she's telling you what a beautiful life comes for. What is the cost of all this? And it opens up with a quote from Practicalities by Margaret Duras. I got the name wrong. You're always more unreal to yourself than other people are. It's absolutely beautiful. And I kind of was scared a little when I picked up this book because I thought that it would become so much about womanhood that people might not like it. Because every time we talk of feminism, a lot of people like really refrain from speaking up or talking out loud about it. I don't know why. But in any case, if you've read the book, do comment your favorite parts and we'll explore them because it'll be very helpful for me also. Otherwise, I'll just keep on ranting without a stop. And Anurag has commented, hey Anurag, thank you for the super chat. Your best book list on contemporary world power politics. Is it okay if I come back to this? Because we are discussing the book and I'll have to think about it and that'll break my flow. Dipanshi has commented, one of the lines that touched me was she doesn't have a name. She's a wife. I know. I think this book, I thought I was pretty modern and very feminist. And then I read this book and I had a meltdown because I realized how much I've wronged the women around me. how much I've wronged the people I've worked with, women who I've worked with, women who are my friends, women in my family, my mother, my grandmother, and so on and so forth. And that's probably that's one of the many reasons why I recommend this book to everyone. And she starts this book with, the thing I love about Deborah Levy is I love how her books open. It always opens with a story. And she opens this one with, as Orson Welles, whatever, if we want a happy ending, it depends on where we stop the story. One January night, I was eating coconut rice and fish in a bar on Colombia's Caribbean coast. Now, she's sitting out there somewhere, and she has seen this couple who's sitting. She's seen this man who's sitting next to her, and he's very muscular, typical macho male, and he's talking to a young English woman who's perhaps 19, and he seems to be in his late 40s, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, late 40s. And she was reading her own book, and she's been her own, but he had invited her to join him, and so she did. At first, he did all the talking, and after a while, she interrupted him. Her conversation was interesting, intense, and strange. She was telling him about scuba diving in Mexico, how she had been underwater for 20 minutes and then surfaced to find there was a storm. The sea had become a whirlpool, and she had been anxious about making it back to the boat. Although her story was about surfacing from a dive to discover the weather had changed, it was also about some sort of undisclosed hurt. She gave him a few clues about that, and then she glanced at him to check if he knew that she was talking about the storm in a disguised way. And she realizes, this woman, that he's not interested. And he has managed to move his knees in a way that jolted the table so that her book fell on the floor. And he said, "You talk a lot, don't you?" She thought about this, her fingers combing out the ends of her hair while she watched two teenage boys selling cigars and football shirts to tourists in Cobble Square. It was not that easy to convey to him, a man much older than she was, that the world was her world too. He had taken a risk when he invited her to join him at his table. After all, she came with a whole life and libido of her own. It had not occurred to him that she might not consider herself to be the minor character and him the major character. In this sense, she had unsettled a boundary, collapsed a social hierarchy, broken with the usual rituals. And that's why he said, "You talk a lot, don't you?" Anna Anbyan, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, has commented, "Haven't read the book and just Googled it and found this beautiful life. Sometimes we want to unbelong as much as we want to belong." Oh, that comes in. I mean, I remember this line, but I'm not sure where it comes in. It comes somewhere in the middle. We'll get to that part as well. Hey, Shresht is in the comments. Hi, Shresht. Shresht is my school best friend. And I like it when he shows up every time for my streams. He's very funny, but he always declines my invitation to join the streams. Anyways, she asked him what it was that he was scooping up from his bowl with whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So at this point, he's eating something he's scooping up something from his bowl, and she asks him what it was. And he told her it was a raw fish marinated in lime juice, which was written in the menu in English as it comes with a condom, he said. When she smiled, and the girl smiles back at him, and she says, Deborah Levy writes, "When she smiled, I knew she was making a bid to be someone braver than she felt." Now, this guy has made a very profane remark, and she's trying to be brave. She's smiling back at him, and she's trying to be braver than how she's feeling in this moment. And Deborah Levy just puts it up so beautifully out there for you. When she smiled, I knew she was making a bid to be someone braver than she felt. Someone who could travel freely on her own, read a book, and sip a beer alone in a bar at night. Someone who could risk an impossibly complicated conversation with a stranger. After a while, he said, I don't like scuba diving. If I had to go down deep, it would be for gold. Oh, it's funny you say that. I was thinking my name for you would be the Big Silver. Um, then she just makes a conversation. And eventually, she pays her bill and asked him to pick up the book he had just jolted to the floor, which meant he had to bend down and reach under the table, dragging it towards him with his foot. It took a while, and when he surfaced with the book in his hand, she was neither grateful nor discourteous. She just said thanks. And at this point, Deborah Levy tells us of this quote by Oscar Wilde: Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. And that was not quite true for her. She had to make a bid for a self that possessed freedoms the Big Silver took for granted. After all, he had no trouble being himself. And the best thing about this is, I think, the women in the comments can confirm. What follows is a statement by Deborah Levy, where she writes, to speak our life as we feel it is a freedom we mostly choose not to take. But it seemed to me that the words she wanted to say were lively inside her, mysterious to herself as much as anyone else. Here, that's an opening, and she tells you how she hints at how women are trying to understand themselves as much as they're trying to understand the world. And the chapter that broke me actually is called, it's chapter 9, and it's called Night Wandering, where she talks about her mother. And Vaibhav and I were discussing just the same, and I'll wait for him to join us before I go back to that chapter. I'll read your comments until then. Piyu is here. Hi, Piyu. The book is packed with great thought-provoking lives. One I keep reminiscing is Life Falls Apart. We try to get a grip and all. I think the one sometimes you want to unbelong also comes somewhere around this part. Life falls apart. We try to get a grip and hold it together, and then we realize we don't want to hold it together. There's another line that I love, and it's here. There are random markings that I've done on the book, right? It's on page number 133. And there she goes back to what she said in Things I Don't Want to Know about being loud and not being loud enough, but then just being as loud as she wanted to be. She says, every time I was asked to speak up, to speak louder, the words ran away, trembling and ashamed. It is always a struggle to find language that tells me it is alive, vital, of great importance. We are told from an early age that it is a good thing to be able to express ourselves, but there is as much invested in putting a stop to language as there is in finding it. And I like it a lot. Sometimes when you read this book, it just feels like you're sitting with Deborah Levy and reading a personal diary. And there's just a lot of back and forth going on between you. Just give me a second, guys. I'll see if Vaibhav can join. And yeah. So there is a lot of, when you're sitting down with this book, it feels like you're sitting with her personal diary and her personal thoughts. And it's sometimes scary how much you see yourself in here in this book. Or it was crazy for me how much of myself I saw in this book. And here, in the first book, she speculated that Things I Don't Want to Know. Okay, I forgot to tell you how the title came to be. She said, things I don't want to know are the things that are known to us anyway. but we do not want to look at them closely enough. And in The Cost of Living, she says, the writing you're reading right now, this is how she ends the book, the writing you're reading right now is made from the cost of living, and it is made with digital ink. And in the entire book, she tells you what the cost of this living has been, what it has taken for her to be a writer, what has taken for her to be able to send her kids to school, etc. And she also talks about her divorce, her husband, and she talks about her parents, her family. And you kind of begin to question everything that has been taught to you. And ironically, I just came back from a lot of weddings, and I was rereading The Cost of Living in October, where I had a lot of weddings to attend. And that's when I found myself question so much the lives that people will lead now. And Vaibhav is here. Hi, Vaibhav, are you here? I can't hear you. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
1 second. Hi. What's up?
Did you just, your hair look very, they're all over them, which is not bad.
हाँ, headphone लगाया ना अभी तो ऐसे वो उड़ गए.
How much of the book have you read? I was waiting for you to join so that I could take up the 8th, 9th chapter.
Oh dude, nice one. मैं अभी गाड़ी में भी आ रहा था तो मैंने last का वो पढ़ा, वो postcard वाला part, and I was like, holy shit. Like after the death of the mother वाला जो part था ना. Yeah. Like what's happening, but like hey, like what time बाद आप stream कर रहे हो? Hi, how have you been? क्या चल रहा है?
I've been fine. I've been reading a lot. So hopefully there'll be a lot of, like, the streams will get interesting for some people. Shayad.
Nice. और like what's happening in the chat? Like मेरे को कुछ भी नहीं पता है. मैं
There are people who are actually commenting their favorite parts of the book. So if you're here, comment down your favorite part of the book, or maybe you can also go search for quotes from The Cost of Living by Deborah Levy and comment down your favorite quote that you find online. And also like the stream, guys, please.
हाँ जी. So हम बात कर रहे थे of the 8th and the 9th chapter.
Wait. What are your first impressions of the book?
Dude, okay. So it got like जब मैंने start की थी तो in the sense कि I knew कि it's a good book, but like धीरे it like मेरे को ये it got better with every chapter for me. And by the mother वाला chapter it was like okay, अब आ गया, मतलब मेरे लिए ऐसे peak आ गई है कि everything is now connecting कि कहाँ पे जा रही हैं चीजें. And आप like you have talked about this book a lot, तो कुछ parts जैसे मेरे को पता थे जो पहले से आने वाले हैं, but like I was still surprised by a lot of writing. Like that line जो है उसके बारे में तो I think we have been talking about for months. हम like on and off इस line के बारे में बात करते हैं. Did I mock the dreamer in my mother and then insult her for not having any dreams? So that is one line जिसके बारे में हमने बहुत बात की है. But उसके अलावा भी I liked how आज जो हमने book club में डाला, मैंने जो पेज डाला आपके भी वो वाले सारे parts underlined थे.
Yeah.
We give him an edited version of the living we do every day. So in general, एक बार मैं chapter से आने से पहले बोलना चाहता हूँ कि I'm glad you picked this book क्योंकि female perspective से, मतलब this is I think female perspective done right in the sense कि people like me, men like me, उनको ऐसे learnings के हिसाब से, क्योंकि आपने एक टाइम पे बोला था if you really want to understand how women think you should read this book. मेरे को बोला था और आपने शायद किसी स्ट्रीम पे भी बोला था. पर ये वाली जब चीज आ जाती है ना, so I think a lot of people, a lot of writing you can be like yeah nah, ये तो कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया. पर this never felt like it. और मेरे को सारी insights लगी कि oh हाँ this is actually true. मतलब it did like some of the things were like direct attacks and personal attacks, especially the night wandering chapter की shit मैंने भी ये गलतियां की हैं, मैंने भी ये किया है.
Night wandering broke me. Like I still feel guilty every time I read Night Wandering or think of Night Wandering.
Yeah. And बट लाइक वही है कि दिस इज राइटिंग डन राइट, और लाइक हम कितनी बार डिस्कस करते हैं जब अच्छे से लिखता है ना कोई तो मजा आता है. मतलब when someone जैसे फिल्म कल्चर में लाइक जिसमें मैं हमेशा डेनी वेनेलुए का एग्जांपल देता हूँ, लाइक द गाय हु हैज मेड द रीसेंट ड्यून आल्सो. मतलब जब इस लेवल की कोई कॉम्पिटेंस वाला होता है और जब आप उनकी राइटिंग्स पढ़ते हो ना, तो आपको पता यू आर इन सेफ हैंड्स. एंड इनकी राइटिंग देख के मेरे को स्टार्टिंग में आई हैड माई डाउट्स, लाइक फर्स्ट 2 चैप्टर्स में ऐसे कि ओके लाइक आई गेट द आइडिया दैट लाइक कि शी इज ट्राइंग टू शो दिस वन पार्ट, बट लाइक कि जहाँ पे women आर लाइक कि उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. बट लाइक इट ऑल बिकेम वेरी वेरी कोहेरेंट. पहले भी कोहेरेंट थी बट माई माइंड wasn't allowing me to think it is coherent. It was like basically my limitation. Like, और एज अ मैन जब कोई आप पढ़ रहे होगे बट वो लिमिटेशंस चली जाती है, यू गेट टू सी द कोहेरेंस वंस यू लाइक लाइक गो डीपर इनटू द बुक एंड देन इट हिट्स यू. क्योंकि हम नाइट वॉन्डरिंग से पहले अगर 8 चैप्टर की भी बात कर सके, क्योंकि आपने मेरे को पहले कहा था रिपब्लिक पढ़ना, द मदर वन. या एंड लाइक आई एम ग्लैड आई रेड दैट डूड. It is such a good chapter. मैंने इतनी सारी लाइंस लाइक इसमें अंडरलाइन किया. टू लिव विदाउट लव इज अ वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम बीइंग द फर्स्ट वन. And I opened my journal and began to write in the first person and the third person, page number 95. And I like how she wrote like first person and the third person also. So I want everything from life. I want to be a woman and to be a man, to have many friends, have loneliness, to work much and write good books, and to travel and enjoy myself. आप समझ रहे हो इसमें वो वाली जो चीज है कि डांट नहीं रही है वो बात कर रही है आपसे, वो आपको बता रही है.
Like most of the feminists, I was telling this on the stream as well. Most of the writings that are like considered to be feminist literature, I don't like most of them because I feel like we're attacking the opposite gender or the other genders that exist. And obviously, thodi si hain, there are obviously nice books as well. But for the first time, it's like, hey, you're having a conversation of today's time. It's not like something that was written 100 years ago. It's very relevant today. And it's also, you're not attacking, you're just telling them कि मेरी ये दिक्कत है. Just hear me out once.
Bang on.
Yeah.
और ये ही मेरे को इस बुक में लगा. और बाय द वे आई नोटिस्ड कि जो इसका जो फ्रंट है ना, ये थोड़ा सा एम्बेडेड जैसे है ना, इसमें एम्बॉस बोलते हैं, वो जैसे बाहर निकल रहा है ना. मतलब मेरे को एकदम से रियलाइज हुआ, आई गॉट लाइक रियली हैप्पी आफ्टर सीइंग इट.
This also reminds me, like, how you said ki, I wanted to be a man, etc. This reminded me of something that I read a few days ago. So Sylvia Plath's journals are something I'm trying to read these days. And there's one part where she writes, I want to be a man, a boy, a whore, something and so on. And I want to live through everything and then come back home and write about it. And she hates how she's limited by a lot of factors. And you see that's very repetitive. But then you see Deborah Levy take inspiration from so many people, and not just women, female writers like Woolf and Plath, but also like she's going to Oscar Wilde, she's going to, I don't know, Albert Camus and everyone. So it's a wide range of people that will be referred to, and I really, really like that.
How did you discover Deborah Levy?
I don't really remember, actually. I was trying to remember that this morning. I discovered this book, Things I Don't Want to Know. I think Amazon recommended it to me. And I loved the cover of the book. And I loved the title of the book as well, Things I Don't Want to Know. It's very mysterious. What are the things that you don't want to know? Like, the name of the book is very intriguing. Things I Don't Want to Know. And that's how I got this. Then I spoke with... I'm forgetting the name, but then I picked up The Cost of Living. I'm still reading The Real Estate, which is the third part. I'm struggling with it because she's written it in her 60s, and I think it's not very relatable about real estate. And I'm like, I am not that old. Chalo, theek. Still na 50 then.
Got it. I was always very curious to know. And do you think we should try inviting Deborah Levy sometime on the channel?
I was thinking that before I started this stream. But she's not on Twitter. She's not on Instagram. Let's see.
Let's approach her agency and कुछ ना कुछ करते हैं, अब तरीका निकाल. नहीं, but like वो, हाँ, sorry.
I'm also low-key like afraid of how she will be. Like it's
Yeah.
very intimidating
Yeah.
because of how unapologetic she is in her books.
Yeah, but like I like it na when we do the guest episodes with people who are like 50 plus, जैसे रत्ना पाठक शाह मैम type हो गए, because unfiltered है वो, and then it comes to us कि how we handle the unfilteredness, if it is a word. And हम रिपब्लिक की बात कर रहे थे. मैंने
Hmm.
यार काफी कुछ अंडरलाइन किया है, like page 98 I could not. Sorry.
What all have you underlined? Let's compare.
Okay, page 98. I could not live just for happiness and love. I could not give up writing and working in the only place where my writing and work may have meaning. Are you there?
Eight?
Page 98.
Okay, found it.
Yeah. And then I have, how was I going to do that in my 20s if I was supposed to please everyone all the time in bid for approval, home, children, and love? This is the last line on page 98.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah. Then page 99 pe, while he pressed his lips against the glowing skin of her bare arms, she looked into the distance and then walked away from his lips and from the sunshine. And then again the last line. If he wanted her more than she wanted him, how would she begin that conversation in a way that did not destroy his courage? So again, like very nicely done. मजा आता है ना जब कोई ऐसे अच्छे से लिखता है. Then page 100, every time she wrote something she really meant, she followed it with a self-deprecating joke to undermine the truths she had struggled to untangle. मेरे को सबसे पहला thought आया like this is how we use emojis.
So emojis बंदे ने
Every time she wrote something she really meant, she followed it with a self-deprecating joke to undermine the truth she had struggled to untangle. Perhaps this was a bid for approval or a bid for love. Yet what sort of love would demand that she conceal her talent? बहुत सही था ये भी.
This is exactly what I've underlined on 100, page number 100.
नाइस. मैंने पेज 101 पे सिर्फ एक छोटा सा फ्रेज को अंडरलाइन किया, nuanced and furious. It was both nuanced and furious. It's among the last 4-5 lines.
I've underlined also, and I love the rain, which is the last line.
Oh yes, 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 yes. इसमें वो है ना जब वो उसको बताती है कि तुम अपनी राइटिंग कैसे इम्प्रूव कर सकते हो. And like, by the way, I'm very surprised. Like, a lot of people have read the book this month. Because, like, we were not talking a lot about it, but like, so many people were like, "Ki book ka month wala kab ho raha hai?" Jab starting maybe. So it's great, dude.
I'm even more excited about the next month book because I was afraid because cost of living is a little feministic in nature, but I'm
Is
very.
feministic a word?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
But I'm excited about the book for the next month because the prose is beautiful, very beautiful, and it's not even. It's like very. It's politically correct for us living in India. No.
okay. Okay. और देखते हैं 102. Well, thank you, I replied, but you don't have to give me things for letting you know you are a genius. I loved this.
Yeah.
And then next line, but she said that she gave herself permission to speak in a sense totally alien to women.
That's exactly where I've started underlining.
Yeah. काफी सारे वो मतलब अच्छे पार्ट्स थे ये. The shed was winterized. And ये मैं थोड़ा आगे आ गया. मैं 107 पे हूँ. Like, do you want to take up any parts जो आपने इसमें like the ones that you want?
3 पे last line. I identified with Kamu, who declared he had an invincible summer inside him even in winter.
Yeah. तो हाँ, मैंने ये इसलिए अंडरलाइन नहीं किया क्योंकि मेरा उल्टा होता है. I have a winter inside me even in the summers.
Did you make a note of that?
Yeah. Dude, I don't do the note making. ऐसे मेरे को डर लगता है वो करने में because I've seen you do it. So I think I need to gather the courage to start doing it.
I stopped making notes because people would borrow my books and I would be very embarrassed to give them. But I think I'm coming back. I'll stop giving my books away to people.
Yeah.
They can buy their own.
Yeah. जो लोग अभी कमेंट्स में पूछ रहे हैं नेक्स्ट बुक फॉर नवंबर, लाइक वी आर गोइंग टू रिवील इट इन अ बिट एंड
The wild guess.
हाँ, वाइल्ड वाइल्ड गेस दे सकते हैं आप, उनको कोई हिंट दे दो ना.
Um, the author is not from India.
Moving on.
Somewhere south. The author is from somewhere. Like he has his roots in South Asia. South.
Okay.
I don't know. South Asia. South Asia in general.
Oh, मैं आज आपको बोल रहा था ना कॉल पे कि I wanted to send you a phrase. It was on 107. A gardener is always, मैंने बहुत कुछ underline किया 107 पे, but the last para. A gardener is always a futurist with a vision of how a small humble plant will spring up and blaze in time. Do futurists have flashbacks? And for some reason, I did not underline or do they have flash forwards. But do futurists have flashbacks? मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा fascinating लगा था.
Yeah. This is nice.
And then 108 and 9 पे वो जो फ्रॉइड का motivated forgetting करके एक जो था, फ्रॉइड described wish to unknown what
I've
we.
written alag se motivated forgetting.
Yeah.
Like the phrase a lot.
Yeah. तो या अरे मेरे को ये इतना सही लगा जो
Medusa myth.
हाँ जी,
What क्या सही लगा आपको?
मेडुसा मिथ बता रहा था, अब बोल रहे थे क्या?
Yeah, I was saying 110 पे. She talks about, you know who Medusa was, no? Medusa.
आप मेरे को थोड़ा सा बताओगे, मतलब मेरे को देख के सब थोड़ा आया था.
Woman in Greek mythology who had no hair but snakes, and whenever she looked at you, men would turn into rocks.
Okay, okay.
There's this woman in Greek mythology. उसके बाल नहीं होते हैं. She has snakes for hair, like a lot of snakes. Her head is made up of snakes. Her hair is made up of snakes, and it's said like whenever she looks at a man, and if you look back in her eyes, you will turn into stone. So
Okay.
creatures like that existed in Greek mythology. So she talks about Medusa, and she says that perhaps she was a woman who was both very powerful and upset, very upset. It was a peculiar myth about a woman who returns the male gaze instead of looking away. And it ends with her cruel beheading, the separating of the head of a body, of a woman from her body, as if its potency is too threatening. She says,
ये
like,
लाइन मेरे को बहुत ज्यादा सही लगी थी.
yeah. So I like how she compares it. Like, so Medusa is always told, like, usse bolte hai ki she's a very cruel woman, and she's shown to be a villain, and she makes her into a woman who's too powerful and just,
Yeah.
and I loved it so much.
Very nice. Yeah. एंड इसमें जो हस्बैंड वाले पैरेलल्स ड्रॉ किए ना, कि वो जो हस्बैंड जो अपनी वाइफ को नहीं देखता, एंड देन दिखाया है कि वो ऐसा क्यों नहीं करता, बिकॉज हिज वाइफ इज मोर सक्सेसफुल देन हिम, और जो उसकी जो इनसिक्योरिटीज है.
Yeah.
आई लव्ड. या आई रियली लाइक्ड इट. एंड कि व्हेन दे वॉच्ड द, सॉरी,
113 page पे when she says कि the things that the woman is doing, uh, these are it is there to protect him from the anxiety of failure in the eyes of other men.
Oh, I have underlined the exact same thing. Above all, it is there to protect him from anxiety of failure in the eyes of other man. If a man considered successful because he succeeds in suppressing women, it would be a great achievement to be a failure in this regard. And then I have underlined their women lie delicately for them. And this author has written a whole chapter on the art of lying in the book, Arts of the Possible.
Yeah.
Is this a thing? There should be a name for this activity when two people are like trying to match कि दोनों ने क्या क्या underline किया है. There needs to be a dictionary of obscure sorrows for this, or obscure happiness for this. Oh, there needs to be a dictionary of obscure happiness, क्योंकि कितना वो यार, ये मैंने भी underline किया था. Yeah, I have underlined on 114. I wondered what his lack of looking was supposed to communicate. I had a go at trying to figure it out, because the male gaze is supposed to work the other way. It is the women who are looked at. We are not supposed to do the looking. And or if I look at you, you will see that I love you and I don't want to appear to be loving you. ये कि बंदा क्या सोच रहा होगा. Or in never looking at you, I'm communicating my desire for you to never look at me in return. If you look at me too closely, you will see that I feel pathetic, ashamed, and helpless. This
Hmm.
is 104 last para. I'm glad I read this chapter like ऐसे properly मतलब because क्योंकि मैं इसमें ढूंढ रहा था mother वाला and after a point of time I was like नहीं मेरे को तो इसी में बहुत feel आ रही है and when it got over I was like वानी mother वाला part
मैंने इसके जो कंटेंट्स हैं उसमें 8th चैप्टर द रिपब्लिक के अगेंस्ट टिक और स्टार लगाया था, सो आई टुक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड कि दिस विल बी दैट चैप्टर.
okay okay मेरी ना लाइट बंद हो गई 1 second I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. And now comes the is ninth chapter the best chapter in the book? Ninth Wandering?
8th chapter is the best for me. 9th just broke my heart. 8th and 9th are like the best chapters for me.
Nice, nice.
I think at the end of this chapter, she says, "That is how my mother felt about me. Her incomprehensible disposition and her sudden starts of temper and her continual unnatural watching of one's movements. This is how my mother felt about me." This is how the chapter.
Last का तो बहुत emotional हो गया था ये.
Night wandering, no?
Yeah.
I like how she starts it, like my mother taught me how to swim and she taught me how to row a boat. And then she, I don't know if this is the chapter. Yeah, on 118 page. And this happened to me very recently. So I didn't know my mother used to listen. Like now, like whenever we are home, we have this, we play music every day in the morning. Somebody gets hold of the Bluetooth wale head, what are those called? Speakers. And then it's never my mother. And we always thought she was like that. We took it for granted. And then remember we had Vikram sir. So he's my mother's brother. And he told me, like the songs my mother used to listen to before she got married and everything. And he was like, "Oh, these are the ghazals I know because of your mother." And I was like, "What? My mother used to listen to ghazals and stuff? Like she was into poetry? What?" And then a few days later, ironically, I read this chapter and I couldn't stop crying. And I was like, "Oh shit, we've killed our mother's personality for this." That's good, because nobody knew that she listens to ghazals and everything. My brother and I were very surprised. And here on page number 118, she says there is a photograph I've kept of my mother in her late 20s. She's sitting on a rock at a picnic with friends. Her hair is wet because she's just had a swim. There is a kind of introspection in her expression that I now relate to the very best of her. I can see that she is close to herself in this random moment.
मैंने इस लाइन को अंडरलाइन किया था.
I started underlining from her only. I'm not sure that I thought introspection was the best of her when I was a child and teenager. What do we need dreamy mothers for? We do not want mothers who gaze beyond us, longing to be elsewhere. We need her to be of this world, lively, capable, entirely present to our needs. Did I mock the dreamer in my mother and then insult her for having no dreams? And I cried like an idiot when I read this line because I was like, "Oh shit, have I been that person who's killed the dreams of my mother or what?" It's just that.
Yeah. ये है यार मतलब ये है कुछ ये चैप्टर लाइक आई थिंक बुक क्लब में भी किसी ने लिखा था ये लिटरेरी मतलब वो है मतलब आर्काइव किया जा सकता है इसको अमंग द ग्रेटेस्ट वो की.
Yeah. And then she says, like, and then when she describes it as the father who is the hero and the dreamer, and I was like, "Oh, this is relatable." He
That is, yeah.
take pride in the fact that they go out and are adventurous. He detaches himself from the pitiful needs of his women and children and strides out into the world to do his thing. He is expected to be himself. When he returns to the home that our mothers have made for us, he is either welcomed back into the fold or becomes a stranger who will eventually needs us more than we need him. He tells us some of what he has seen in this world. We give him an edited version of the living we do every day. Our mothers live with us in this living and we blame her for everything because she is nearby. At the same time, we try not to collude with myths about her character and purpose in life. And iske niche aake it's like, all the same, we need her to feel anxiety on our behalf. After all, our everyday living is full of anxiety. If we do not disclose our feelings to her, we mysteriously expect her to understand them anyway. And if she moves beyond us, comes close to being a self that is not at our service, she has transgressed from the mythic, primal task of being our protector and nurturer. Yet, if she comes too close, she suffocates us, infecting our fragile courage with a contagious anxiety. When our father does the things he needs to do in the world, we understand it is his due. If our mother does the things she needs to do in the world, we feel she has abandoned us. It is a miracle she survives our mixed messages, written in society's most poisoned ink. It is enough to drive her mad.
ये तो पूरा पेज ही मतलब सबसे ज्यादा मैं अटैक्ड इस पेज पे फील किया था, और नॉट इन अ नेगेटिव वे अटैक्ड, बट की होली शिट दिस इज सो ट्रू.
You know, like she says, no, like it's written in society's most poisoned ink. Now, I might be overthinking, but like she ends the book like this. The writing you are reading now is made from the cost of living, and it is made with digital ink. And I think this digital ink refers to like wo jo poisoned ink wali cheez hai uske liye.
Oh, good one. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I
आगे
love.
भी वो पार्ट है कि जो द वे शी ड्रेस्ड अप वाला, एंड कि अगर मम्मी ने किया तो वो फिर अबैंडन करके चली गई. हाँ हाँ, वो वाले
I
जो.
get so tired of underlining things. I just started tick marking the pages and circling them because I would
Yeah.
I would have underlined the entire chapter.
Yeah. वो सिक वाला जो था वो थोड़ा, yeah.
This is nice.
बट काफी अच्छी किताब थी यार ये वानी, एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर पिकिंग दिस. एंड so you would also recommend that people should read the first one, not necessarily real estate, the third one, but the first one.
I think people should read the third one as well. It's just I am trying hard. Like it's not like really relatable right now for me because I think I'm still not old enough or wise enough to understand it. But the first book is something that will you'll like as well.
Nice.
It'll be like you see how she's aged in her writing when you compare the two books. The things I don't want to know is very she's scratching the surface, and cost of living mein she's just there in front of you and you're like holy XYZ, like how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like thanks for like talking about this, and I think yeah man, मेरे को याद है कि like हमेशा there was this क्या बोलते हैं sparkle in your eye every time we talked about like Deborah Levy, and it is still there. And now we all understand where it comes from because rightly so है काफी मतलब highly बहुत सही लगा यार मेरे को. एंड स्पेशली आपने जब मेरे को बोल दिया था कि 8 और 9 वाले जो थे लाइक वो होम रन्स थे बेसिकली, कि दोज आर दी होम रन्स की.
You forgive her for any wrong sentence. You just like in the next chapters, in the blank pages, I still love you. There's nothing.
Exactly. क्योंकि हम
saying out in the open that I love this author. And that's only because of these two chapters. Otherwise, I'm like, yeah, okay. But then these two chapters were like, if you even write a Chetan Bhagat after this, I'm okay with you.
Yeah, this happens, dude. ये movies में होता है कि तूने ये scene बना दिया, अब तेरे को जो करना है कर ले, I'll forgive you, because you are always looking for that one line, that 1% in a book that will always stay with you, and it's clearly there in it. So we can live with कुछ भी कर सकती है मैम अब जाके, एंड अगली धर्मा प्रोडक्शन की मूवीज की भी अगर इनकी हो, सो आई थिंक वी कैन लिव विद दैट.
Yeah.
और वो भी फर्स्ट डे फर्स्ट शो जाके देखेंगे.
We'll do that. I am signing up for that. I will.
Yeah. But I think great Vaani, and like I'm so happy ki like we did a stream again after such a long time, and a lot of people are thanking you for like this in the comments also. So I think yeah, this was amazing and thanks for having me. और आप अभी continue करिए, आप अगर और भी कोई चीज है. Sorry, आप क्या कह रहे हो?
I'm going to reveal the next book before you go. Oh shit, I already revealed it. Shit.
No, नहीं देखा.
Going with
अब मेरे
it.
साथ. Okay, so should I stay for the next book reveal?
I'll do the book reveal and then yeah, we'll end
Okay.
this. So now that I already showed, I think the name of the author.
नहीं देखा वानी, किसी ने नहीं देखा. रुको थोड़ा बिल्डअप क्या.
Yeah, it's
अब मैं रुका हूँ तो ड्रम रोल भी करा लो.
yeah, it's the first novel of this author, and it's absolutely beautiful. The guy is, I think, was born in America, I think, but like he's from Vietnam. But this is the back cover of the book, and it has some really nice reviews. I'll just move on. And one of my favorite quotes from this book is like it's actually a letter. Now everyone will know what book I'm talking about. It's actually a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. And the name of the book is.
एक second.
Yeah. I think Zoom cancelled it because it thought it's noise. The name of the book is On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong. I hope I got the name right. But this is the book. And I started reading it quite recently. And I had been dying to pick it up for a long time, but I don't know why I couldn't. And it starts with, it starts with this. Let me begin again. Dear Ma, I am writing to reach you, even if each word I put down is one word further away from where you are. I'm writing to go back to the time at the rest stop in Virginia when you stared, horror struck, at the taxidermy buck hung over the. And then he says, I'm writing because they told me to never start a sentence with because. But I wasn't trying to make a sentence. I was trying to break free. And then he starts a sentence with because. Because freedom, I'm told, is nothing but the distance between the hunter and its prey. And it's a beautiful letter. And he will show you his family history. He's from Vietnam, and his parents migrated from there to America. And he talks about the cultural differences. He talks about what it was like for his family to move from the war-torn Vietnam and then settle here in a first world country. And it's just absolutely beautiful.
Amazing, dude. So we also just have put the link in the description and the bio and in the chat. Book of the month for November is On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong.
Yeah.
And guys, chalu kijiye and like tag kijiye hame the moment you buy the book, Chalchitra ko and Vaani ko, and then we'll share it. And ये आपका thumbnail मिल गया अभी editor जी को. This is the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is great. And thanks for revealing the book for November. आपने मेरे को बताया था दिसंबर की आपने बहुत महीने पहले डिसाइड कर ली थी.
December ki decided it's going to break all of us and we're going to cry in December.
Happy New Year. Oh, New Year की रात को हो रहा है.
रात को we're playing Jagjit Singh and whatnot, and we're crying. But yeah, let's see. I'm actually confused now because I'm like, do I really want people to cry in December? And I want to cry with them because even I haven't read the book. And with thodi si lambi, yes, I'm getting busy, like winters and everything. But let's see. But
cool.
It will be something I haven't read for sure. But yeah,
cool.
I hope you guys will place your orders or like buy it or read it or do whatever, whatever, but like read it with us. And
yeah, read it with us and try to use our links जो हमारे affiliate links है जो हमने डाले हैं हर जगह.
And do tag us on Instagram and everywhere else if you're reading the book. Keep on posting like your favorite parts and your favorite quotes so that it motivates us as well to show up.
Yeah. And there are two more things. हमारा एक WhatsApp का book club है. You guys can join it if you become a member, a gladiator or a godfather. वहाँ पे हम daily discussions करते हैं. And we also have a Discord पे channel by the name of A Book a Month with Vaani. You can also like post your details there. And एक वानी की mailing list है जिसके बारे में वानी आपको बता सकती हैं.
So there's the mailing list, and we try to post updates there where I've reached and everything. And you guys can, I think, sign up for that. The link will be in the description. And if you become a part of it, you'll get notified of when the stream is happening, when the next book is, etc., etc. So do sign up, do read with us, and tag us in the stories or posts or whatever you'd feel like.
And yeah, use the hashtag A Book a Month with Vaani.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
एंड या सो मैं आप 2 मिनट लीव मतलब मैं लीव कर देता हूँ, आप एंड कर लीजिएगा, ठीक है?
Bye.
चलो, we'll see you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Bye, Vani.
Bye. So now Vaibhav is gone, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this book. On Earth, we are very briefly gorgeous. I think I'm on page number 11 only as of now. Oh, no, I'm far beyond. I'm on page number 23. And it's so difficult to read this book because every time I finish a paragraph or a sentence, I go back into thinking about what I've just read. I was in a hurry when Weber was here because I got a little conscious, I think, because I didn't want to bore him. But this is a beautiful book. And he says, there's this story that he starts with. He says, somewhere over Michigan, a colony of monarch butterflies, numbering more than 15,000, are beginning their yearly migration south. In the span of 2 months, from September to November, they will move one wing beat at a time from southern Canada and the United States to portions of central Mexico where they will spend the winter. They perch among us on windowsills and chain link fences, clotheslines still blurred from the just hung weight of clothes, the hood of a faded blue Chevy, their wings folding slowly as if being put away before snapping once into flight. It only takes a single night of frost to kill off a generation. To live then is a matter of time, of timing. That time when I was 5 or 6 and playing a prank leapt out at you from behind the hallway door shouting, boom, you screamed, face raked and twisted, then burst into sobs, clutched your chest as you leaned against the door, gasping. I stood bewildered, my toy army, helmet tilted on my head. I was an American boy parroting what I saw on the TV. I did not know that the war was still inside you, that there was a war to begin with, that once it enters you, it never leaves, but merely echoes a sound forming the face of your own son. Boom. That time in 3rd grade, with the help of Mrs. Callahan, my ESL teacher, I read the first book that I loved, a children's book called Thundercake by Patricia Polacco. In the story, when a girl and her mother spot a storm brewing on the green horizon, instead of shuttering the windows or nailing boards on the doors, they set out to bake a cake. I was unmoved by this act, its precarious yet bold refusal of common sense. As Mrs. Callahan stood behind me, her mouth at my ear, I was pulled deeper into the current of language. The story unfolded. Its storm rolled in as she spoke, then rolled in once more as I repeated the words. To bake a cake in the eye of a storm. To feed yourself sugar on the cusp of danger. And I just, these are the first 3 pages of the 2.5 pages of the book. And let me know how you like it. I'm very excited about this book as well because I think I really like poetic prose. That's my weakness. And we're finally reading it here. And if you are a part of the book club, I'll also be posting some of my favorite bits of the book there. And do read along, do buy the book and post it on Instagram and everywhere else. And do tag me, do tag Chalchitra Talks. And let us know how you are liking it. And I'm very happy. This is the, I think, 11th book that we're doing together. And I'm very happy. We're coming, like, we're 1 month away from December soon. Like, we'll be 1 month away from December. We are 1 month away from December. What is wrong with me? We're 1 month away from December, and I'm so glad we've read 10 books together until now. Maybe next year we can aim for 24 books. Who knows? But I'm very happy, and I'll see you guys on next Thursday, and we'll perhaps do a reading from On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous. So do join. I think we'll start with the 3rd chapter. If I'm like, agar hum syllabus discuss kar hi rahe to, we'll start with the 3rd chapter. Do join in. And let me know if you guys liked the pick. what do you think in the comments below. And I'll see you guys soon. And I'll just end the stream now.